So I think the last few episodes were okay, but I think what they lost for me was that breakneck like finale type pace that
Mm-hmm.
you want that the first 3 episodes had.
Yeah.
We're back to that because this felt like the end of the world was coming.
Okay, so let's talk about The Boys,
The boys.
episode 6.
Yes.
Right off the bat, what you got any good from this episode? We skipped episode 5. There was a lot of discourse about it already. Felt like it would have just been a, what's it called? Vacuum.
Okay, let's just be real. I had to go to a networking event. That's why we skipped it.
Busy. Anyways, but also everyone was already talking about it, and pretty much everyone had the same thoughts we did.
Yeah,
So
listen, we I think both of us overall liked it. It was a good episode. Rest in peace, Firecracker. Um,
yeah, that was my tattoo. I was adding little sparkles around
oh, sparkles.
my star
Yeah,
tattoo to make it look like a shooting star
nice, nice.
for the girls
So the race is on now for the V1. We're back. We're back on the race. I will say like
at the beginning.
yeah, yeah. So I think the last few episodes were okay, but I think what they lost for me was that breakneck like finale type pace that
Mm-hmm.
you want that the first 3 episodes had.
Yeah,
We're back to that because this felt like the end of the world was coming.
that's so crazy. You have a good um idea about this episode?
Oh, well, all right. So spoiler alert, I loved this episode.
Oh, I didn't.
Whoa.
I think this is the weakest of the season.
Whoa.
Not again. Not again.
What the hell? I thought this was maybe the best of the season.
No, I thought it was
No
really
way.
weak.
This is going to be such a fun episode, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. Let's go.
Glad we didn't talk about this.
Let's
ever.
go.
Um.
What
So
do we do now?
I'll talk about the good things I have since there's not too many.
Wow.
Sage switching sides was inevitable, and they spent too much time on it because we already knew that it was happening.
Please, you're talking about the good.
I am. It was inevitable, and I mean, it's good that she did for the storyline.
The
And then
good is that Sage is actually good. No, she's not. She's trying to destroy the world.
yeah, we'll get into that because her motivation sucks.
All right.
Homelander getting the V1 is great. I wanted that because, yeah, I wanted that, honestly, because I don't think Homelander is the kind of guy who loses. And I think in order to really up the stakes for the last 2 episodes, you need him to have the thing.
I have a theory about that.
Oh, we'll get into that later. Your eyes are scaring me. Okay, so yeah, that's all I have for really good.
Okay. You know what? Then I'll do something different because I have just the same amount of bad.
Really?
So
I have so much bad.
I will like to contrast you. I'll just say what my few bad things were then, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Our moderator.
We'll allow it.
Our moderator. uh one bad thing is just like does anyone really actually like these segments anymore in these episodes where things just go batshit crazy and we just have people with hanging nut sacks and stuff? Like, does anyone honestly leave in the comments? Does anyone actually watch The Boys for that anymore?
No, I'm bored of those.
Because I'm quite frankly, I'm tired of every Boys episode having to take a break to just have one insane scene that of course we are stuck now talking about with someone with hanging nut sacks with the song Freak Out playing and they did this in the last episode where they just had Seth Rogen, Kumar Nanjiani,
Kumail Nanjiani.
Kumail Nanjiani, Will Forte or whatever, like them just dying in the sea. Like every episode has one of these sequences. And I genuinely just want to know, does anyone actually like these sequences? Because I don't. I think that every single time they stall the episode, it's just one segment with the nutsack. I won't talk about it too much. That's one of my big problems. Or not big problem. It's one of my only problems. Another small problem I have. What the fuck? What the fuck was that scene with Huey and Starlight finding Firecracker's body? What the hell was that acting? What the hell was that dialogue?
Yeah.
It happens for like 30 seconds. They stumble across Firecracker's dead body, and they have some crazy weird dialogue and acting in that scene. It's just a quick moment, but I just wanted to throw it out because I was like, what the fuck was that?
You'd think I'd feel relieved, but I just feel sad. I mean, she's a human being.
Maybe that's why Homelander killed her.
Yeah.
Um, and then my actual, so those were two little like small things. My actual big issue with this episode is the ending. I really hope Soldier Boy has alternative plans because I really don't think that that ending makes any sense. Why he gives Homelander the V1.
Yeah.
I don't. I know that I have like we're releasing this video late as we do because we like to make sure that we have our opinions and our information completely set for y'all. So I have already seen people talking about this episode and people seem to be okay with it. I don't understand. I really don't.
I have a theory about that.
I have a theory as well that I'll get into later, but for right now, I kind of see it. This is my transition to the good. I kind of see it the way I see Star Lord's decision to punch Thanos in Infinity War, where it's like I can explain it away because the results is dramatic and intense enough for me to not care as much. And that's kind of where I'm at with this, where it's like if the next two episodes deliver because of Soldier Boy's decision to give Homelander the V1, I'll be okay with it. But for right now, where it stands, I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever for Soldier Boy to give Homelander the V1. I know there's an explanation within the episode, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's kind of weak.
And I know you're about to get into your good.
Yeah.
So I'll mention my one good thing that I didn't mention because
Uh-huh.
I was saving it because I loved it. I actually, this isn't just good, this is great.
Ooh.
It's just a cute little funny bit
Mm-hmm.
of Firecracker doing the Nicole Kidman ad.
We come to VMC theaters to laugh, to cry, to see our biggest heroes on the biggest screens. Because we need that. Every dang one of us.
So when that happened, I was like, this is gold. My jaw was open. I was like, this is the best thing I've seen in this show in a long time.
Uh-huh.
And it made me very happy. Loved that sequence. That was my last good before we get into all your good.
Okay.
And then we'll get into, oh my bad.
Yeah, because we got a big ride of emotions. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'll just say, feel free to debate me with any of these goods. Feel free to jump in
Oh boy.
if you feel like you need to. But
Okay.
I don't think you will because I think I have some good points here. Um, I'll start off with, like I said before, the high stakes. This is the antithesis to what I had an issue with Mortal Kombat when I said that Mortal Kombat 2, the stakes felt non-existent.
Mhm.
This is the opposite. I think that no time in The Boys has this felt more like the end of the fucking world than in this episode. There is a movie I want to reference that I had some issues with, but I didn't feel the same way as a lot of people because of this, and that's Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Not a great movie. A lot of people had issues with it, but something I came away from that movie saying to everyone was that you will hardly find a movie that preaches end of the world vibes better than this movie because it just built the stakes up so much to the point where you're so used to hearing the world is going to end in movies, and how often do you actually feel like that's a big deal in
Mhm.
movies? In Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, I felt like the rare case of like, wow, it does feel like this is a big deal. It feels like the world is literally going to end if Ethan Hunt does not do this very specific thing.
Mhm.
That is how I felt watching this episode. When we get several scenes like with Huey and Starlight who are just like, could we just sit and talk for a moment? When they're talking about planting the virus in the church and then the ending when Homelander gets the V1. This feels like the end of the world. This feels like it is literally complete this mission or everyone's gonna die. And I could not be more happier with that because like I said, the last few episodes, they're good. They're fine. I really don't have like a big issue with the last few episodes. It's just I feel like the stakes and the pacing kind of dragged a little. Um and this episode brought that back. It felt like it really did feel like we are on the third to last episode of the show. One of the things I've loved about the show for a while too is the way that it always expands the world. So I did actually appreciate going into a soup nursing home and
Yeah.
seeing what happens to these aging soups who were once stars and have superpowers but are also now very old. And I do find it interesting that it is hard to find anyone that truly looks old because it's faithful to like um compound V does to you. Like it you age, but you obviously age differently. Like you age like Captain America would age. You don't age like a regular human.
Yeah.
I find that just fascinating. I really like that the show is always willing to kind of expand the world and do some cool fun stuff. And I also think thematically for this episode, it made a lot of sense. It really challenged the characters to see, like, especially Kimiko and Starlight, to see why maybe taking the V1 actually is not good. Because why would you want to be immortal? Why would you want to never die? The only person that actively wants that is Homelander because he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're not crazy, then you're thinking about watching your loved ones die while you stay young. And I think that that's a very interesting point to make 3 episodes before the finale,
Mhm.
and 1 episode before inevitably we watch several characters die that I'm gonna talk about later.
Yeah.
Um, I really liked the rivalry that was built up with the Deep and Black Noir. I could have used more of it, but I know a lot of people have an issue with the way that kind of wrapped up in this episode. Honestly, for me, I thought it was perfect timing. I think if you drag that out any longer with only 2 episodes left, you're risking putting just way too much into these last few episodes.
Yeah, I
I
will say one thing on that actually. I'll interrupt you for this one part. Here's my thing with Black Noir. Bringing in the new one, like
Mhm.
not a bad idea in theory and concept, right?
Yeah.
And then we spend quite a bit of time in the previous episode with him. All for that to just set up that him and the Deep have a rivalry.
Yeah.
That's a waste of the last space of time. And the way it wraps up, I'm not mad at. It was time, like
Mhm.
you said. But I think if you're going to introduce a character as late as they did and then genuinely have no real purpose for them, which I know you have an issue with a similar character with them doing that. We talked about in episode um we talked about separately, but it was in episode 5 with Firecracker
Mhm.
where you introduce this character and ultimately they have what was their purpose of being there other than to waste screen time
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
unless it was for the Nicole Kidman ad. Um But yeah, I that's my one thing with that. I am glad they wrapped it up, but it's not cathartic at all because he had no purpose other than to just be like, yeah, this is just a little rivalry with the Deep. Gives the Deep something to do, I guess, but
So, I'm not gonna fault you for thinking that for you saying that they kind of wasted this version of Black Noir, but I am surprised that you don't see something specifically because I know the Deep has always been one of your favorite characters in
love
the
the Deep.
show.
Yeah.
To me, the reason that I love this rivalry and the subplot so much is because it really was there to influence this arc that we are now seeing with the Deep. Because the way so basically what happens in the last 2 episodes, I hope you saw it, but just to go over it real quick. Um the Deep kills Black Noir's acting coach, the famous director who made like Dawn of the Seven and stuff. I forget the name of the character. He kills him, and so Black Noir gets back at him by destroying a pipeline that the Deep was in charge of and killing 1.4 billion fish.
Yes.
Then the Deep snaps and murders Black Noir. This is really interesting to me because the previous episode, Black Noir suggested that he should be the first sign that Homelander is a god because he's going to speak and show that Homelander just created a miracle by making him speak. And now, before the Deep kills him, so we have the Deep killing him, which is already like, oh no, like Homelander already hates the Deep, and now he just got rid of the biggest thing that was going to help him gain the support of people to believe in him as a god. But the other thing is also when he's trying to revive his fish friend Jeremy, Jeremy says that he knows all the fish did this to him. We put the Deep in a very interesting scenario, in my opinion. And
Yes,
so
but I don't
this rivalry ultimately led to more purpose for the Deep than I expected him to have without it.
I don't think you need another character in order to boost up one. I don't think that in introducing Black Noir in this way, especially because the previous Black Noir was so much more fascinating and interesting. When you use a character in order to build up another character, it's boring to me. I like the Deep. I like everything they were doing with the Deep. I get what you're saying, and I agree. And it seems that the purpose of this Black Noir was to have the Deep do what he did.
Mhm.
But I don't think they should have used the black the new Black Noir in that way. I think that there was more potential if they just did that with something else or someone else. That's just my thing. But,
I don't fault you for saying that. I do agree it's not the best thing to use a character to do something else with another character. I agree with that. I just feel like I don't think they had him the new Black Noir on the show enough for me to really care that much.
well,
I
that's what I'm saying. He's no, but he wastes a lot of screen time in episode 5, and I don't think we needed that. That's my point.
I feel like a lot of it is because they built up a mystery around him that we created that the show never really had any intention of. Because at the end of the day, like, we do know a good amount about this character, especially from episode 5. And it's just that he's just not it's just we did the Black Noir thing. And so we had a new one, and it was mostly to kind of just push the Deep's character a little bit more. I'm not saying that what you're saying is something I necessarily fully disagree with. I just, to me, I see it more as we have a much more interesting way of capping off the Deep's arc now
Okay.
because of this rivalry.
Well, fair. Is there anything else that's good that you wanna bring up?
Yeah, yeah, I wanted to shout out Oh Father because there's a
Daveed Diggs,
yeah,
the
first of
actor.
all, his performance has been great. I just never really it's just to me it kind of just felt like another character that was added a little too late into the story. But then they did something really interesting in this episode. They really created a very interesting villain out of him because I feel like sometimes movies and TV shows they're kind of afraid to give a villain a definitive standpoint. Like you kind of want your in order people. I think filmmakers sometimes think in order for you to understand the villain, they need to have some room to be good. But to me, a true villain is the villain that doesn't care whether they're good or bad. They're just so into their beliefs and so understanding of what their beliefs are that they're incorruptible in the bad way. And there's an amazing excuse for why Oh Father is following Homelander and why he's one of the only legit followers because he didn't get an answer from God throughout
Mhm.
his whole life. And so Homelander is here claiming to be God and has the power to be God. And his thing is like at least Homelander is here. At
And
least
listens to
he's
him.
listening,
Yeah.
and I think that that's so fascinating, and I'm almost upset that it happened so late in the season because now I think Oh Father is a really interesting character.
Mhm.
Um, but it's never too late. I think as long as they have something interesting in store for him in the next 2 episodes, I think that's good, and I just wanted to shout that out because I was kinda blown away by that scene, to be honest. Starlight they're planting the virus in the church, and Oh Father catches them and has an interaction with Starlight, and that's the conversation they have is basically him saying like, "At least Homelander's here. You're a religious person, right, Starlight? Homelander's here. He's answering. Where's God?"
Yeah.
And I think that that's fascinating, and I was a huge fan of that moment.
It's not I did like that moment because it really, like, cements, like, who which side everyone's on for sure too,
Mhm.
and I like that he has, like, a real reason, like you said. I do think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
an interesting thing.
And then just I'll bring this one will be super quick, but just because I had mentioned that I feel like an issue I have with the boys is sometimes they just introduce characters quickly and then they're
They
gone,
die?
like fucking Marathon Man in the last episode or Mr. Marathon, whatever. They to me they did not do that with Bombsight. I thought Bombsight made a huge impression. His powers are super interesting. I really like the
What
backstory.
powers? They're gone now.
Well, yeah, but I think his backstory with Soldier Boy was really interesting, and I love that he was a rare character that was introduced in this and was grounded.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't just a silly bananas crazy dude who was just saying the most absurd thing about nutsacks and assholes. Like he had a very understanding motivation to be with Golden was it Golden Gesha?
Geisha.
Geisha, um, and ultimately decides by the end of the episode, instead of getting Golden Geisha to be immortal like him, maybe I should lose my powers so that I could be mortal like her. I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah.
I thought that fit in with the episode. And if we never see that character again in The Boys, I'm okay. I think his character arc in this episode alone was honestly really great.
That's perfect. It's a great transition into my bad.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, because, the Vault Rising setups, it's getting obnoxious. I'm feeling like, this is I get it. Let's, introduce more characters, and while I like Bomb Sight, and I'm definitely so interested to see his character in Vault Rising, do I need him right now in The Boys? I liked him in this episode, and I hope we don't see him again in The Boys. I feel like there's a lot of that, specifically with Clara, AKA Stormfront. I don't care about her at all because the way that you're introduced to her in The Boys is she is the worst person ever. She is a terrible human being. And now they're asking us to care just a little bit about her because she's obviously going to be playing a large part in Vault Rising. So I'm not there with that right now.
I
And
agree with
as
you.
much as like I had heard someone say it that they were doing too much, and I was like, I'm not really seeing it. But then and that was episodes ago, and I was like, now I know exactly what you're talking about because it's a bit, and not to say it has anything to do with Soldier Boy. It has to do with just trying to give more to these characters whose it's not their story yet. They will have their story. We can just wait. Everyone's gonna watch it. You don't need to set it up.
Mhm.
Um, and that kind of brings me into the whole where's Gen V? At this point in the series
Yeah.
because their seasons hinder on the boys, specifically the second season.
Mhm.
They spend a lot of time with Edgar and with Starlight. It makes no sense that they have not made one single appearance yet
Yeah.
in the boys. So that's another thing where I'm like, okay, we're getting Vault Rising set up. We know Gen V has been canceled, but the fact that we haven't seen them yet is like it's making the world not make sense, and
Mhm.
I don't like that, especially because in Gen V, it's handled really well, integrating the boys into the world, but we don't hear anything about Gen V, and they should be looking for at least, a few of the characters by now.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I want to push back a little bit. Because that's a point I strongly disagree with.
Well, you
Because
didn't watch Gen V, so you wouldn't know how much they add
I
to the
watched season
story,
1. I
not
watched
season
season 1,
2. How much they add to the story of this
but
final
but
story.
I want to push back just because in comparison to another show that just finished,
Daredevil?
Daredevil, there uh, if they brought in Spider-Man into Daredevil, it would technically make sense for the story because they're in New York. There's a big thing that's happening in New York, but Spider-Man, spoiler, does not pop up in Daredevil. And if you came to me and said that you were upset about that, I get it because if you're looking at the overall story, you're like, it doesn't make sense why Spider-Man wouldn't be here. But if you're just looking at the show isolated, I don't want Spider-Man there because it doesn't make sense thematically and tonally for him to just suddenly pop up and take over the show. And that's honestly how I feel with Gen V here, where I don't mind if they show up, which obviously we'll talk about later. We know that they will be showing up in the next episode. But this is The Boys. I
It
just want to watch The Boys and Homelander and that storyline. And I get that Gen V and their characters have something to do with this, but I
It's
don't need it.
not that they just have something to do with it because they exist in the same world. It's that the entire second season exists within the boys. And actually, the boys play a large part of it. And they play a large part against the boys. Like I said, Starlight's in a lot of it. Um, Homelander is like a major villain in it. Godolkin, there's a lot of moving parts in the second season. So while I can understand what you're saying, the difference is I've seen the second season of Gen V and how much the stories literally push together, which is why I was like, I can't believe you haven't seen this in order to go into the final season of The Boys. It feels like it it should it actually makes less sense for the boys to have not had them in here yet because they're so wrapped up in the boys' story at this point.
In a world where in a close to post Marvel world where we're kind of not really like relying and praising these like big cinematic universes, I I feel like you get bogged down when you are spending too much time worrying about what is happening in the overall world as opposed to just what is happening in this story right here, right now, in this season of this TV show.
Yes, but like I said, they should have shown up by now just based on the fact that their story and the boys' story are literally the same story by the end of season 2. So the fact that they haven't even been mentioned, that's why I'm saying shown up doesn't even have to mean we have seen them. The fact that none of these characters, who some of them are highly powered, one of them is the most powered person in the entire boys universe,
Mhm.
hasn't even been mentioned by any character, is where I'm calling into issue. That's it. But I'm
Yes.
not, but on that note, we're gonna move on from that.
Listen, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, like, for the way we're wrapping up this season, I just I don't see it. But either way, it doesn't matter what either of us think because we already know that they will be in the next episode.
Yeah, they should have
So
been mentioned before now. One other terrible thing, Sage's motivation, terrible, awful.
okay, I could agree with this.
I hate it, and that was in episode 5 that we learn her motivation. I was hoping by this episode it was like, "Oh, that was a fake out. That's not her real motive." I hate this. And if you don't know, her motivation is just that she wants to be alone, and that's ridiculous and so silly. Especially because we've also known her character to not necessarily like being alone.
Mhm.
She actually likes when she can give herself a lobotomy and hang out with the deep and eat a lot. She loves
Yeah,
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Yeah.
It's a lot of the entirety of Taco Bell right now, like their sponsorship for the boys is all on Sage.
Mhm.
And then the last thing I'm going to mention just really quickly, as I mention it every episode, it was extremely bad in one specific scene, Kamiko's ADR, specifically when she's talking to Golden Geisha. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know. It's just like
I
we
have
have
to
to bring it up
mention it.
every
I do
episode.
because I am waiting for me to be wrong, and it gets worse and worse as the episodes go on. So that's my last bad thing, and I want to get into our MMVPs.
Okay. Just real quick, I just want to say something real quick about Sister Sage because I do kind of agree with you. I just will say like just to like piggyback off it. I think my issue more is just like it's too fucking late. I don't actually think her motivation doesn't fit her character. I just think it's too late.
And who cares?
Exactly. It's too late. Who cares? Like we're on to bigger, better things. Anyway, bigger, better things like our MVVP. What's our
No, it's isn't it
MVVP?
most? Oh, I said MMVP.
You created this.
I know. Anyways, mine is Soldier Boy because he gives Homelander the V, or maybe not, according to my theory.
Mm,
What's you?
yeah, we'll see about that. I have a theory on that. Mine's a character I haven't mentioned yet. I'm gonna go with the legend.
Wow.
I have a good explanation for it too, because I had said that Bomb Psych. I almost gave it a Bomb Psych, just full disclosure. But I said Bomb Psych came into this episode and was actually like a grounded character. The Legend kind of also did that, and but he did it to a further extent. He called out Mother's Milk, and Butcher, and kind of like gave us a little insight to how much both of them have just completely lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Um, and then also because one of my favorite scenes in this entire show happened in this episode between the Legend and Homelander. I thought that conversation was fascinating. The Legend is kind of one of the first people that I think we really saw break down Homelander. Um, and it was one of the first times Homelander actually witnessed, like, had a conversation with someone that's not his enemy that wasn't scared of him. And so he just let him go.
Yeah.
Now I know what's gonna happen to the Legend after, but I thought that was fascinating, and I thought if you're gonna have Homelander just straight up spare someone, it's because of this scene. It's the Legend because of this scene.
Yeah.
So that's my MVVP.
Well, I like that. Let's get into some moments.
Yes.
I'm gonna be quick on a few of mine.
Okay.
Grossest moment, ball guy. That's all I need to say. What's yours?
Yeah, the nutsack.
It
That's what I
has to
had.
be. That's
It's
disgusting.
disgusting. I almost didn't put it just because I'm like, I don't want to give these writers something like I don't want to give them what they want by putting in these gross out moments. But yeah, that was disgusting. Fucking
Yeah.
hanging nutsacks. I'm not a big fan of.
This one's for you, Em.
Fuck you.
Bomb site being depowered is my most emotional, which we already talked about that moment, so I figured I would just mention it.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen my blood, and I can't remember.
It was really sweet. I did think that was really sweet. Bomb site, the actor is incredible as
Bomb
well.
site, the actor. Who is this actor? I actually agree with that too. I really do think that that to me was it was an incredibly emotional scene because it was just so different from what we were experiencing with the boys. Like I said
Yeah.
several times in this episode, introducing a new character usually means, oh, here we go, more puns about dicks and nuts and assholes.
Yeah.
But this one was a very like earnest character arc, the realization that, oh, instead of forcing someone to be immortal like me, maybe I could just be mortal.
Yeah.
That was a very beautiful thing.
And my most intense we talked about already too,
Hmm.
which is when Homelander let him go.
Do what you gotta do. You can go.
That entire scene, I think leading up to that, like he literally is like, yeah, you're gonna kill me, but you already felt that in the scene. It felt heavy. Whenever you see Homelander go into a room with anyone alone, you're
Yeah,
like,
you know
I'm
something
yeah.
fucked up's gonna happen.
But that was very intense, especially when he wants to leave. I'm like, is he actually gonna leave?
Yeah.
That was good.
That was intense. I have a different one, thankfully. My most intense was the ending.
Run.
Again, I'm gonna just go past the Soldier Boy thing. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I think that that's a dumb thing, but I will see how it plays out later to see if I really still feel that way. Just the idea that Homelander got V1 and the look on Butcher's face when that happened, the intensity, even though it only lasts a few seconds, exploded through my veins.
Yeah.
You could feel the first time Butcher genuinely feels fear in the show when he just looks at Homelander bursting his lasers in the air and he goes, "Run."
Yeah.
Oh, the intensity.
It's good.
Yes.
And for funniest, mine's the fish. When the Deep runs over and he goes, Jeremy!
Jimmy, can you hear me? We know, Kevin. We know it was you.
I thought that was
That was so funny.
I did
That
not
was so
think-
funny.
I thought that was going to be your most emotional moment.
No, that was funny. I thought that was funny.
I thought-
Because the Deep's like,
Well, because it's the Deep, it's funny,
Yeah.
yeah. But I do think that was kind of an emotional. Um, I would say my funniest was actually a quote. This is not my quote of the episode. I just think this quote was so fucking.
I hope
funny.
it's not one of my quotes of the episode.
It was Ashley.
No,
Okay.
we're good.
She said. She said, if I wanted to commit suicide, I'd asphyxiate myself. At least I'd get off first.
Yeah, there we go. No, that was a good one. I was like, you know what? Same girl. I get you.
Yeah, well, I want to give an honorable mention to another quote that made me really
Well,
laugh.
yeah,
It was-
then let's talk about our favorite quotes.
It's not my favorite quote. It's not my
Oh.
favorite quote. Just another. I almost picked this as the funniest moment. That's the thing. It's when the legend says, "See that blonde girl over there? I fucked her in '74. Got me to the Mile High Club. No plane,
That makes no sense. I love it.
because she flies."
Oh, duh. That makes sense. That was good.
Yeah, but no, neither of them are my favorite quotes. I just thought like the quotes specifically in this episode made me really laugh.
I have two favorite quotes because I feel like we should be doing a favorite Soldier Boy quote and a favorite quote, but mine are also both Soldier Boy, so I'll go with my favorite quotes.
Does it have to do with nut hair?
Yes, the first one is,
They can feather my nut hair. I'm busy tomorrow.
I thought about it, loved it.
Yeah.
And then my other one, really the one I preferred, was when he says, "Buddy, the queen sat on this face. It's a national fucking treasure." That was great. I love it. I can't wait for Soldier Boy and Ball Rising to just give us unlimited quotes.
I actually have a curious question. If there's anyone watching the video that's from England, what do you guys think about that joke? Because to me, I just find that absolutely hilarious. I don't know if that's actually something to think
It
about.
might not be as dramatic anymore because now their queen is Camilla Parker Bowles.
Yeah. Well,
Not,
I'm just curious.
and hopefully nobody has respect for her. She's the
Yikes.
worst.
Eek. Okay. I have a more beautiful quote from this episode. I actually really like this quote. I've never heard this before. Golden Geisha says,
Summer is only beautiful when you know winter's coming.
and I thought that was honestly like a really good way to kind of explain quickly why it is better to be mortal than immortal.
Yeah.
Thematically, it fit in very well with this episode. Thematically, it fit in very well against why we should all, one of the million reasons why we should all be against Homelander. That was a beautiful quote. I really like that.
I thought that was beautiful as well.
Yeah.
And then we only got 2 more things we got to talk about.
No.
I know. I have a tattoo idea.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get. You ever seen like those beautiful like koi fish like in like the little yin yang?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get a red one and a black one, and it's gonna commemorate the fish Holocaust
Rip.
that happened.
Yeah. Rest in peace, all the fish.
It-
Seriously, how much is 1.4 billion fish? Is that like a small percentage, or is that
Yeah,
like a
yeah. There's a lot more fish than there are people, and there's 8 billion people, and 8 billion is a lot more than one.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So what about you?
I want up my back. I want 2
I thought you were about to say up your butt.
up my butt. I want an eel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No.
Classic.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, from the last.
So up your back.
Up my back, I want 2 red beams going all the way up to my neck, and then just a little silhouette of Homelander under it, like looking up. So,
That's a wild tattoo.
hey, listen, I go big, and we're only 25 subscribers away from me actually
But
getting
we
a
got
boys
this.
tattoo.
It's
So
done. It's happening.
yeah, we're at 75 right now. I said before the end of the season, if we get 100, I will get a boys tattoo. I'm gonna up it. I'm gonna up it real quick. All right.
Oh no.
If we get 100 subscribers before the end of the season, which is in 2 weeks, I am going to do a poll and see what tattoo it is going to be.
And I'll make sure he gets it.
And I will get it.
Oh, awesome. Cool. I like that. I'm gonna tell all my friends to subscribe now. Just
Right.
kidding.
All 5 of them.
Thank you for listening, watching, however you're experiencing
I hope you're watching.
this. Yeah.
I hope you're commenting. And give us a like too while you're at it. Why not?
Or a dislike.
I don't care either one.
Definitely subscribe so we can make sure he gets a tattoo. Thank you for listening. I'm Jasmine.
I am still Jason.
And have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our full episode on Spotify at X-Rated Films, where we get into all things spoiler-free, spoiler, our fun movie moments, our movie tattoo ideas, and movie matchmaker, all on Spotify. Thanks again for watching, and please subscribe.